going to continue in the book of Joshua, chapter 11, in the King James Version today. And so a lot has happened already. Joshua is leading Israel into the promised land, but they've already made one mistake when they didn't destroy some of the inhabitants of Canaan, because a group of Canaanites came and made a pact, kind of did a switcheroo on them, falsified, saying that they were from a far off land, but they were not. They resided in the land of Canaan, and so the Israelites under Joshua, they didn't go to the Lord at that time, and so they ended up making a peace pact with that group, and now that's going to be part of their test, as we'll soon find out. And also they are continuing to destroy the inhabitants and get rid of the rest of the Canaanites. So let's continue today in the book of Joshua chapter 11. It's very windy and I don't know how long this is going to last without the tower falling over. Okay. And it came to pass when Jabin, king of Hazar, had heard those things, that he sent to Jobab, king of Medan, and to the king of Shimron, and to the king of Ashaph, and to the kings that were on the north of the mountains, and of the plains south of Chinneroth, and in the valley, and in the borders of Dor on the west. I knew it. And on the borders of west. I was like, there's a strong gale. Okay. On the borders of west. Okay. And to the Amorite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Jebusite in the mountains, and to the Hivite under Harmon in the land of Mizpah. Okay. Try that again. Hopefully this time I'm trying to bury it a little bit even more. But we'll see. It's very, very windy out here. Okay. Verse 4. And they went out, they and all their hosts with them, much people even as the sand that is upon the seashore, in multitude, with horses and chariots very many. And when all these kings were met together, they came and pitched together at the waters of Merom to fight against Israel. And the Lord said unto Joshua, Be not afraid because of them, for tomorrow about this time will I deliver them up all slain before Israel. Thou shalt hoof their horses and burn their chariots with fire. So Joshua came and all the people of war with him against them by the waters of Merom suddenly, and they fell upon them. And the Lord delivered them into the hand of Israel, who smote them and chased them unto great Zidon, and unto Mizraphoth Maim, and unto the valley of Mizpah eastward, and they smote them, until they left them none remaining. And Joshua did unto them as the Lord bade him. He hoofed their horses and burnt their chariots with fire. And Joshua at that time turned back and took Hazor and smote the king thereof with the sword, for Hazor before time was the head of all those kingdoms. So there is, I believe, a lot of ATVs going on. And continuing on, it's verse 10. And Joshua at that time turned back and took Hazor and smote the king thereof with the sword, for Hazor before time was the head of all those kingdoms. And they smote all the souls that were therein with the edge of the sword, utterly destroying them. There was not any left to breathe, and he burnt Hazor with fire. And all the cities of those kings and all the kings of them did Joshua take and smote them with the edge of the sword, and he utterly destroyed them, as Moses the servant of the Lord commanded. But as for the cities that stood still in their strength, Israel burned none of them, save Hazor only, that did Joshua burn. And all the spoil of these cities and cattle the children of Israel took for a prey unto themselves, but every man they smote with the edge of the sword until they had destroyed them, neither left they any to breathe, as the Lord commanded Moses his servant. So did Moses command Joshua, and so did Joshua. He left nothing undone of all that the Lord commanded Moses. So Joshua took all that land, the hills, and all the south country, and all the land of Goshen, and the valley, and the plain, and the mountain of Israel, and the valley of the same, even from the Mount Helak that goeth up to Seir, even unto Baal Gad, in the valley of Lebanon, under Mount Hermon, and all their kings he took, and smote them, and slew them. Joshua made war a long time with all those kings. There was not a city that made peace with the children of Israel, save the Hivites, the inhabitants of Gibeon. All other they took in battle. For it was of the Lord to harden their hearts, that they should come against Israel in battle, that he might destroy them utterly, and that they might have no favor, but that he might destroy them as the Lord commanded Moses. One moment. And at that time came Joshua and cut off the Anakims from the mountains, from Hebron, from Dibur, from Anab, and from all the mountains of Judah, and from all the mountains of Israel. Joshua destroyed them utterly with their cities. There was none of the Anakims left in the land of the children of Israel, only in Gaza, in Gath, and in Ashdod there remained. So Joshua took the whole land according to all that the Lord said unto Moses, and Joshua gave it for an inheritance unto Israel according to their divisions by their tribes, and the land rested from war. So again, there was a huge amount here just in these chapters, because there's a lot in the book of Joshua that has to be covered to understand what happened as they were entering the promised land. Listen to this. And in verse 4, and they went out, they and all their hosts with them, much people, even as the sand that is upon the seashore, in multitude, with horses and chariots very many. And when all the kings were met together, they came and pitched together at the waters of Merom to fight against Israel. So all the kings of the Canaanites started getting together because they were hearing all of the amazing work that the Lord was performing in the area. And so they were starting to get very worried and concerned, which they should, because the Lord was already at work, and he was already at work for Israel to take over the promised land as promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so bringing past to present, again, going along with the Lord is always at work for us, even when we don't see it, even when we don't know it. There are many times where we have to continue to move forward in life in order for those things to be revealed to us, in order for us to move ahead on our journey with the Lord and the Holy Spirit. So before we go on, though, what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind when we read over this? How does it make you feel, and what does it make you think?